everybody, and welcome back to Flock's Nest Sports Podcast. As always, I am one of your hosts, Dallas, reppin' 52 of the Baltimore Ravens, Ray Lewis.
As always, I'm the other half, Brendan, repping 54, Bobby Wagner of the Seattle Seahawks.
We got a really great episode for you guys today. We got a little baseball news, a little WNBA news, but most importantly, preseason of the NFL kicked off. So we are going to get into Ravens and Seahawks, as well as thoughts on other teams, rookies, all the fun stuff. So let's jump right in. Brendan, talk to us about baseball. What is going on?
I don't really have news, but I did say that I was going
Okay.
to start following the Seattle Mariners. So I kind of thought I'd give a little update on how the Mariners are doing these past couple games. In the last 10 games, they are 9-1. They've been on an absolute heater. They're beating pretty much everybody. They are only a couple games behind in their division. So they are catching up to the Houston Astros. So hopefully they can overtake the Astros, win their division, and leave themselves a pretty good spot for the playoffs. Some standouts right now. Josh Naylor, who they picked up on the deadline, has been red hot, has 4 home runs since he joined the Mariners. Cal Riley has continued, or was in a hitting slump, but has since got out of it. He's been pretty good still. Obviously leads the league in home runs. That team has just been playing really well. Their pitching has been going really well. So overall, the Mariners are looking to make a real push this year towards the playoffs and hopefully the World Series if they make it that far. But so far, yeah. Since the deadline, they've been good. Again, 9-1 in your last 10 is pretty good.
That's pretty good. That's hard to argue with.
So that's the baseball news I have.
Alrighty. Well, very exciting. We will move on then to the WNBA, where I have news. Last night, the Valkyries played the Kinetic Sun, during which they finally officially announced their new mascot. They did a whole production for it, which I thought was really great. The Valkyries have had, sold out stadiums for every home game. They've been very popular as a new expansion team. They brought in an egg to the stadium a couple days ago. We got to watch it kind of unhatch. And then they unveiled the mascot. It's a raven named Violet. It's Purple Raven. Here's the problem. It's great. The concept, I get it, right? Valkyries, ravens. We got a whole Norse thing going on. I like it. I don't know if we purchased this mascot off Etsy or what we did or some Temu looking crap. It does not look like a raven. Right? As a fan of the Baltimore Ravens, I see a raven mascot a lot. And I just don't think this one is where it's at. Like, good concept, not the best execution. And then to cap off the experience, most basketball mascots shoot baskets, and Violet could not make a layup. So she fits right in with the Valkyries, but let's try. Let's try.
That's fun.
Glad the team is really solidifying itself in the WNBA. These are important milestones and steps for a new franchise. Missed the mark a little bit. Full disclosure. Missed the mark a little bit. I am friends with some really intense Valkyrie fans. They were very disappointed with how it looked. Good concept, not great execution. They did get the win over the Suns, though, so maybe that makes up for it a little bit. But that does do it for our WNBA news.
Okay. Well, less exciting.
Did you see it? Have you seen this bird?
I did in fact look at the mascot, and
what do you think?
I think the Ravens do it, or the Baltimore Ravens do it better.
It just doesn't even look like a raven.
Yeah, it doesn't.
I had to be told. Like, when it came out, I was like, the fuck is this? Like, what is this purple bird?
Yeah, it just doesn't. They were
and
better.
I don't know why she wears glasses. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm unsure. I'm unsure about a lot of it, honestly.
Yeah.
I think you were better off just asking the Baltimore Ravens for one of their 3 mascots.
Yeah. I understand making it female, right? I get that. I respect it. But but there are reference photos for a Raven mascot out there.
There's 3 of them.
Yeah. Pick one. Make it purple. Give it floofy feathers, and let's move on with our damn day.
So, not the best. But
no. But yeah, I will continue to support the Valkyries. I will continue to watch them. I have enjoyed the experience of kind of coming into my own with a new franchise as well. But unfortunately, I just think they missed the mark on that one a little bit.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
At least it's only a mascot.
This is true. So, alrighty. Well, we shall move on then to the NFL. Obviously, they kicked off preseason this last weekend. We had tons of football, tons of storylines that we are eager to get into. So, Brendan, do you want to start with some of the breaking news?
Yes. So, a lot of this breaking news is unfortunately going to be injury related. Just kind of the price of doing business in the NFL. All of it sucks. None of it's great, but we'll get into it. First one happened during the Baltimore Ravens game. Quarterback Anthony Richardson of the Indianapolis Colts was taken out of the game due to a dislocated finger. He's going to have that repaired. He should be back pretty quickly. Didn't seem that bad, but it does pose the question. You have an injury. You have a quarterback with injury history.
Again.
Why are you...
Yeah.
One, letting a free rusher just straight at him. I mean, like, dude was unblocked. And 2, why are we letting him take, like, actual hits in preseason? Just questions. But thankfully, he comes out of it pretty unscathed. In the grand scheme of things, he should be out for a couple weeks with that dislocated finger, but could be worse. Next is the Eagles all-pro guard Landon Dickerson. He had a minor procedure on his knee to repair a minor meniscus situation. He should be ready for the regular season, for the start of the regular season, that is. This could have been much worse. Obviously, you hear knee procedure and you hear what could have been when he was carted off the field. This could have been a season-ending injury, thankfully for him. And the Eagles, it's just a minor thing. Should get cleaned up, and he should be back for the start of the season. So that's good to hear there as some positive. Next, less positive, really unfortunate. Rashawn Slater, who had signed that 4-year, $113 million extension pretty recently, was carted off the field during practice with a ruptured patella tendon. So he's done for the entire season. He might not play next season either. The patella tendon tends to be the hardest to gauge how long you're going to be out for. That is the injury Abe Lucas of the Seattle Seahawks was injured with. He didn't play for a year and a half, essentially. So, Really unfortunate there. Hopefully he can be back pretty quickly after this. Obviously, he won't be back this season, but hopefully his recovery is speedy enough that he's ready for next season, coming off that huge contract extension he got. Next, quarterback Jordan Love of the Green Bay Packers had a procedure to fix a ligament in his thumb. This doesn't seem like a big issue. He should be back for the regular season opener. He's not going to practice for the rest of training camp and won't be in any games, but he should be back for the opener. Doesn't seem like it was a big thing, just something that needed taken care of. And then last but not least, the Jets' backup quarterback, Tyrod Taylor, had knee surgery. I'm not sure what it was to repair, but he will miss the entire season. Oh, no, he will only miss the preseason. Should be back for week 1. So not a big knee injury. Again, kind of got lucky there, but just something to keep an eye on. If Justin Fields is not performing, Tyrod Taylor would be the backup. And then Lions, Maurice Norris was probably the scariest injury we had throughout the entire preseason. He had a knee-to-head situation. He was taken off the field in an ambulance. He was in concussion protocol. The Lions did come out and say that he has full movement, is conscious, everything's fine. He's in concussion protocol. The game between the Falcons and the Lions was essentially ended immediately after that happened. The players kind of just snapped the ball and stood in a circle while time ran out. So that just goes to show you it is bigger than football. But yeah, he seems to be doing okay. Like, he has movement and everything. So hopefully he can come back after he deals with the concussion protocol and still be all right. We will keep you posted on anything changes there. But that is all the...
Yeah, I mean, we talked about this last week, and we will continue to talk about it as the season progresses. Injuries are an unfortunate but very real part of football. There are a couple of names that unfortunately continue to pop up. Tyrod Taylor's body, I do not think is built for his dream, which is one of the most heartbreaking realities. But every time he gets close to getting his shot,
something happens.
An injury ruins it. Obviously Justin Fields is the Jets' starting quarterback. But we have watched Justin Fields for years. So unless there is great improvement, there was a chance Tyrod could get his shot. There still is.
Hopefully he's back.
Hope that he's okay. Jordan Love battled injuries all year last year. To start the year in a similar position
not great.
Is unfortunate.
Anthony Richardson is...
Again, I was going to talk more about that when I talked the Ravens.
Fair.
But, that was a basic day one install package. You're supposed to dump the ball off to the running back or the tight end, whoever doesn't pick up the free rusher, very quickly. That's sort of the point. Not sure why we held on to the ball. Not sure why we put our quarterback in a position
where he
have a free rusher coming at him. And then, unfortunately he is hurt. It's something that hopefully will be all right. I mean, that finger looked messed up.
Yeah,
But it was going the wrong way. But it is something that can be repaired and healed easily, but it just calls into question, continued questioning, if he is a quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah.
So, all of these things, very unfortunate. I thought the Morris Norris one was obviously very scary in the moment. Whenever a player is taken off by ambulance, your kind of heart drops. But to watch the players respond the way they do, to see that, like you said, it's bigger than football. It's bigger than a game. It's people's health and people's lives and livelihood. And to see them all just come together and go, it doesn't matter that we're on different teams. We're just standing together in solidarity for him, I thought was great. And to hear that he's pretty well off, it's just a concussion, which still is not great, but he had the movement, he had all these things. It could have been so much worse. That's great to hear.
Yeah. So injuries are a thing. Hopefully, we have less of them, but
they are a thing.
So that does it for the breaking news part of the NFL. So
Alrighty.
We'll kick it to the Ravens.
Alrighty. Well, that works because the Ravens were technically the preseason opener outside of the home game as they played Thursday night against the Indianapolis Colts. At 24-16, the Ravens like to win. They had a very long preseason win streak up until last year. They think it's important. It's a lot of these guys' only time that they get to play. So they do everything they can to make that time meaningful and to make that time count. So I really respect that and I really appreciate it. I'm going to kick it off with, they did begin with a Jim Irsay video, tribute video. He was the owner of the Colts. He's actually the person that took the team from Baltimore to Indianapolis. So to see them pay tribute was really beautiful. It was really, I think, just a great way to start the season. And then obviously we talked about the Anthony Richardson injury, which did happen on the Colts' first drive with a hit by David Ojabo. While unfortunate for the Anthony Richardson portion of it, I was glad to see Ojabo get some playing reps as he has battled injuries. He hasn't really lived up to the hype of his draft stock. So to see him get meaningful playing time and things like that, I thought was really good. Keaton Mitchell also got some playing time, 68 yards, 1 touchdown, 9 carries, meaningful playing time. TJ Tampa played some really meaningful snaps in his second year as he spent most of the last year injured. Both of Bow and Ollie also had meaningful snaps and looked really good. As for the rookies, Loop missed a 46-yard field goal on his first attempt, but made a 52-yard field goal. I thought that was really important. Shows you that he can adjust. He's taking the coaching well. He knows how to do those things, and he doesn't get stuck in his head about it. Often when kickers miss, they continue to miss, and he did not struggle in that regard. LeJohntay Wester had an 87-yard punt return for a touchdown. The Ravens have really struggled to find a punt returner outside of Tylan Wallace. So to see that was really nice. As for injuries on the game, Cone unfortunately did leave the field in an air cast. He has a tear in his left knee and will miss the entire season. Rasheen Ali also got banged up, but appears to be at practice this past week. I'm a little unclear on that. He's not on any of the missing from practice reports, but I also don't have true confirmation that he's there. But I believe he is. General thoughts on the game were, it's irrelevant as fuck. So I'm glad that we're seeing. Oh shit! I'm gonna backtrack for a second. I'm sorry. Malachi Starks, obviously the first overall draft pick, played about a drive, got him 1 tackle, not very anything. It's just to give him live reps, things like that. Mike Green did play for longer. I believe he played for the first half. I thought I had his stats in here somewhere. I know. Oh, there it is. He did have a 50% win percentage on pass rush. So we're seeing that development. He is very much learning from the guys alongside him. He is playing well. Great to see that from the top 2 draft picks for the Ravens. But it's irrelevant, right? I like seeing these guys do well. I like seeing Luke bounce back from a missed field goal. I like seeing how do they respond to kind of live bullets. But you're playing against backups, and you're playing with backups. And a lot of you are likely to be backups. Cooper Rush, who played the majority of the game, is not Lamar Jackson. So this is not what the offense is going to look like. Devin Leary is not Lamar Jackson. He didn't have the best game. He's the 3rd string quarterback. I don't expect him to. Not Lamar Jackson. Not what the offense is going to look like. I looked at the game. Roquan Smith was not on the field. Kyle Hamilton was not on the field. This is not what the defense is going to look like. So while I was glad to see Zach Orr's install on, we still emphasize run defense. We didn't allow a ton of deep yardage plays. Great. This was not the Baltimore Ravens that I will be watching. So it was good to have football back. It was great to see some of these rookies get some time, some reps. Obviously, the second-year guys coming off the injuries that I noted, I was really glad to see them out there getting real team reps, getting back into the swing of things. Doesn't matter. Doesn't tell me anything about who the Ravens are going to be this season. And that's just a fact. Maybe if Lamar was more of a traditional pocket-style quarterback, but he's not. And you cannot simulate that, and you cannot recreate that. So, Kyle Hamilton, Roquan Smith, Van Noy, they're different. You can't recreate that with rookies and backups in the preseason. So, good game. Glad they won. Excited to see some of these things, but I'd have been just as okay if they'd lost, honestly. Since the game, some things that have happened. Cornerback Robert Longerbeam was also placed on IR and expected to miss the season. I am not entirely sure what the injury is, so I apologize. Hopefully I will get clarification before next week. What that does mean is both of the 6th-round draft pick cornerbacks that the Ravens had are out for the entire season. So, unfortunate, that secondary room is not having the best luck, and it's very early. To make up for the players placed on IR, the Ravens did sign DB MJ Devonshire and running back Myles Gaskin, as Ali had gotten hurt, and Marcus is still out. He did return to practice, but he is redshirted, practicing, I believe, on a separate field. He hasn't truly been practicing with the team. They want more depth in the running back room. Obviously, they need more depth in the secondary already, so I'm not surprised by that move either, especially because I don't expect to see Jair play, and I don't expect to see Hamilton play. Jalen Armour-Davis did play some snaps. That was great to see, but it's really just about keeping depth in the room. All said and done, though, again, great to have football back. Great to have them playing at home. But that's not the Ravens. It's just people wearing Ravens jerseys.
Okay. I mean, fair enough, but
damn. Had one, I think 5 starters played all in told, and they didn't count Keaton because technically I think he's the 3rd running back on the depth chart.
Yeah, that'll do it.
And 2 of them sat on the O-line, so no.
Yeah, that's what preseason's about, though. So
yeah, and it's great. It's great to get, and I think there's been a lot of debate, and I think we're going to talk about some other teams where we thought people would play and they didn't. For the Ravens, who have a very well-established core on each side of the ball, I like that they give the time to other guys so that they can put film out there, so they can get reps, so they can have that experience. I respect it very much. I do not think Lamar Jackson needs to play in the preseason. I do not need my quarterback's finger going the wrong motherfucking way. I don't need that. No, thank you. Because some rookie lineman missed a blitz or whatever. We're not doing it. Or a defensive end has to make the play because he's got to make a team. Not happening. Don't need it. Don't want it. All good. Let those guys get that time. Let them have their moment. All those things. Lamar can just sit his ass down. And I'm okay with that.
Yeah, that's fine. You can live with that.
I will. All right, well then let's kick it to the Seahawks.
Yeah.
This was really great because I got to watch both the same day.
I did not get to watch the Ravens, but I got to watch the Seahawks. They were the late game on Thursday. They played the Las Vegas Raiders. The game ended 23-23 in the tie. Yes, it can end in ties in preseason. Yep. No, I was not thrilled with that result. I would rather us just lose than tie. I think ties are stupid. But beyond that, it was a pretty good game. The Seahawks were a team of 2 halves. The first half I thought was very good. Second half wasn't. There's some context there. We'll get into it. First of all, some standouts. First standout, the person I thought that stood out the most was the fullback Robbie Oots. And you might be sitting there, how does a fullback stand out the most?
He did. A great play. He had a great moment.
Man, he was making blocks. He, at one point, blocked Max Crosby. If that name sounds familiar, it's because Max Crosby is one of the highest paid defensive ends in the league. He didn't just block Max Crosby, he blocked him pretty damn well. Max Crosby didn't get around him. Robbie Oots made the play. Robbie Oots had the touchdown that broke, or had the block that broke the touchdown. So he, overall, I thought just had a great game. I think he's definitely solidified himself as the starting fullback. That wasn't really ever in question. But with this game, he's definitely the starting fullback. I love it. Having a fullback is really fun. I think Dallas can speak to this. It's just a fun experience. It's just football. So, good for him. He was, I think, the main standout. After that, Torrey Horton, the wide receiver out of Colorado State, had a pretty solid game. Had 3 catches, 31 yards, and a touchdown. Doesn't sound like a great stat line, but over the course of the game, you just kind of felt him. He's been a standout in camp. I thought he had a pretty good game. Just kind of seemed to be in the right places. Obviously caught the touchdown. So, overall, pretty good for him. Gray Zabel, the left guard out of North Dakota State, is the next one. I thought he looked good against the Raiders starters, which I think is important to note. The Raiders played their starters for a little bit. The Seahawks really didn't, unless they were rookies. So Zabel looked good against some pretty decent talent there for the Raiders. Obviously, didn't allow sack, didn't allow pressure, just looked really good, created really good running lanes. Overall, pretty decent showing from Zabel and overall that offensive line, but we'll get into that more in a second. Nehemiah Pritchett, the corner out of Auburn that we drafted last year, I thought had a pretty decent game. Had an interception. Didn't really get targeted that much, but when he was, I thought he played well. I think he also had a PBU. He played well, which is good because I think corner is kind of where the Seahawks are the weakest right now in terms of just like how many bodies are on the roster. Jared Ivey is another one that I thought stood out. Didn't really fill the stat sheet, but I thought was playing well against the run. Was always kind of in the right place. You could kind of see he was setting the edge. He was doing well. He's the UDFA out of Ole Miss on the edge. I thought he looked good. He didn't really have a sack. He didn't get into the backfield a whole ton, but he was affecting the game in other ways, which I think is good. I don't know if that'll help him a lot, but it is something to keep an eye on. And then last but not least, I thought George Holani, the running back out of Boise State, had a really good game. Obviously had the first touchdown. Ended the day with 61 yards on 7 attempts and a touchdown. Pretty decent day. That's a 8-yard per carry. That's all you can really ask for out of a running back. So I thought he had a good day. Beyond that, I think the offensive line stood out. Now, the offensive line that played included 3 starters. The 3 starters were Gray Zabel at left guard, Anthony Bradford at right guard, and Abe Lucas at right tackle. The other 2 were Josh Jones at left tackle and Jalen Sundell at center. So thought the offensive line played pretty well. Didn't allow a sack while that group was on the field, and that group might start the season. Not really sure. Obviously, Charles Cross has that finger issue. He should be ready for week 1, so he will be at left tackle. And then Oluwatimi is also dealing with an injury to his back. So Jalen Sundell might start at center. So that could be the starting offensive line we see week 1. I don't think it will be. I think Cross will be back. But having 3 of the 5 starters, that offensive line looked good. They were getting good push on the run game. Didn't allow a sack while they were in. Overall, I thought the first half offense was pretty good. Drew Lock looked fine. Did have a really bad interception, but it's Drew Lock. You can kind of just chalk one of those up at some point in time. Otherwise, I thought Lock looked fine. He's going to be the backup. I'm not that worried. We didn't see Sam Darnold. I knew we wouldn't. The Seahawks don't play starters regardless of the situation. They might play next week. We'll see. But there's that. The second half is where things kind of went downhill, which is really unfortunate because the second half was the half I was most looking forward to, because Jalen Milroe was going to be quarterback for the second half. And I thought he looked fine. He ended the day 6 for 10, 61 yards, no touchdowns. Also added 38 yards on the ground. So he looked fine. I think part of the problem was he was dealing with 3rd and 4th stringers the whole time. And that's fine. He is the 3rd string quarterback. That's what's going to happen. I would have liked to see him get more run with 2s and 3s rather than 3s and 4s. But at the end of the day, I thought he looked good. Like, you can see the talent, and there are times where, man, he can fire that football. And there was one play in particular where he was running a read option with a running back, and at one point, just the way he was holding the ball and kind of like reading the defense, he did look like Lamar Jackson in the way he kind of hesitates to read the defense and then takes off. So that was good to see. Really exciting there. But did get sacked at the end of the game. That kind of ended the game for the Seahawks in a way. It wasn't a great sack. There was a fourth down play where I thought he could take off and get the first down. Decided to throw it. Not sure if that was the right decision, but that is something that's going to happen with a young rookie quarterback. Decision making is going to be something. So overall, for his first game, I thought he did fine. But I can definitely see the upside and where the Seahawks want to go with it. The second half defense was tough to watch. That was not great. Lots of breaking down in coverage. There was one in particular where the touchdown for the Raiders, where one of the corners bit hard on a double move and was then just beat over the top for an easy touchdown. Wasn't a fan of that. We'll get into that in a second. But beyond that, the first half defense I thought was better. Nick Emmanwori was pretty solid in his first game. Again, with 2s and 3s, I'm not worried about this defense. And then in the second half, it was 3s and 4s. Without Leonard Williams, Byron Murphy, all the corners that are just going to make this a top 5 defense, in my opinion, I'm not worried. Was it painful to watch? Yes. It was painful to watch because, truthfully, they did not have the talent on the field for what they were trying to do. So, as Dallas said, this isn't the Seahawks defense. A lot of those guys were on the bench. There was none of the linebackers played. I don't think any starter on defense other than you can consider Nick Emmanwori, but even he, I don't think is a starter. I think he's listed as the third safety on the depth chart. None of them played. So, yeah, I wasn't expecting an elite defensive performance. The first half had me thinking we were going to get that, and then the 3s and 4s came in the second half, and it was pretty rough. But overall, I think it was a pretty good game. Again, I think the most exciting thing I saw was this offense looks pretty decent, even without starters in it. They were getting the run game going. The offensive line looked significantly improved, only allowed the 1 sack. And again, that was when the, I think, 4th string O-line was in the game at the end of the 4th quarter. There wasn't a ton of pressure. Drew Lock had so much time to throw when he was in the game. It wasn't even funny. They were getting good running lanes. Overall, this offensive line looked significantly improved, and that wasn't with every starter in the game. So there are some positives to take from that. But again, it was good to see them do this against actual NFL players because, again, the Raiders played their starters. So this is an actual thing. Crosby didn't do anything in that game. That defense, the starting defensive line for the Raiders really didn't do anything. Geno Smith had 1 drive. Didn't go well. Ashton Jeanty did not look great. I think he ended the day with negative yardage. That's unfortunate. I was kind of rooting for Jenny in a way. I think he's going to be a good player. Just an unfortunate first game for him. I think it should be better. It's really unfortunate when the guy that you sat behind your junior year was on the other side and had a great game. Because George Olani and him were teammates at Boise State. Olani started over him not last year, but the year before that. And then Jeanty got it last year. But Holani looked like the better running back last night. Again, it's preseason. I'm not putting too much stock in it. It's Ashton Jeanty's first game in the NFL. But something to keep in mind. That does it for the game. I did say we'd come back to that 1 double move, because the corner that was responsible for biting on the double move was then released by the Seahawks. So Cam Alexander, who kind of allowed that touchdown to happen, was waived, and the Seahawks signed Alfonso Tupatala, a linebacker out of Washington. So they bring in more linebacker depth. Cam Alexander, unfortunate, you had your chance.
Yeah.
And you kind of fucked it up. So
yeah,
that's where we're at. But yeah, that's the Seahawks. It was a pretty decent game. Obviously not thrilled it ended a tie. The only reason it ended a tie was because of a blocked field goal for the Seahawks. So shout out to Jalen Gaines, the undrafted rookie, who managed to block the kick. But beyond that, that's the Seahawks.
As someone that didn't have, a stake in the game, I thought a tie was a great ending. Honestly, like I'm very much like I want sports to be sports. Someone should win, someone should lose. But I was like, it's like Pete Carroll's return. I kind of think it's weird if he wins, but it's also weird if he doesn't. It was a whole thing. So I was like, you know what? I will take the tie.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't like ties.
And that is fair. And had it been my team, I'd have been ticked.
Second thing, just really quickly, because I did kind of forget to mention the whole Pete Carroll, Geno Smith return. The return was all right until there was a fan in the stands with a sign that elicited I'm going to say inappropriate reaction from Geno. I get it. I think they're both in the wrong. The sign was like bigger bust Geno or Jamarcus Russell. It's unfortunate that fan is in the wrong as well. There's no need to make that sign and throw it in players' faces. And then Geno should not have reacted by flipping him the double bird.
Yeah.
Just not something you should do, especially considering that you kind of revitalized your career in Seattle. I get it. But at the end of the day, both are in the wrong. It is what it is. I thought the overwhelming reaction to him being back was positive, and then obviously Pete Carroll got a ovation because it's Pete Carroll. That wasn't ever going to be anything but an ovation. But yeah, I thought the Geno Smith fan interaction was a bit unnecessary. And to answer the question, it's not Geno.
Yeah.
Jamarcus Russell was the first overall pick and didn't make it 3 seasons in the NFL. Geno Smith has now made it 8 seasons and is still kicking. So I think he's doing pretty well.
Yeah. I mean, look, I get it, right? I get being annoyed at stupid shit. But you kind of get paid millions of dollars to ignore it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, fans are going to chirp. The media's going to chirp. You got to be able to just ignore it. Fan was obviously in the wrong. No need to make the sign. No need to be an asshole. But unfortunately, it's sports. So that happens.
Yeah.
As Geno, as players,
you kind of have to be the bigger person. Again, I don't care. He's not my quarterback anymore. But at the end of the day, I think condemn both or condemn neither.
Yeah.
And let's move on.
It's fair. It's fair.
But yeah, did forget to mention that part of the whole Seahawks game.
Alrighty.
Yeah, that's it.
Nice. Well, then we will move on to kind of the rest of preseason. I did watch the bulk of the AFC North games. So I'm just going to give some quick thoughts on them. quickly. So the one game I wanted to pay a little bit more attention to than I got to was Steelers versus Jacksonville. Steelers did come away with the win at 31-25. The main two headlines on both sides of the field was Aaron Rodgers did not play at all. I'm not surprised by that, right? He's in his 40s. He's old. He doesn't like to. And
he had an Achilles tear 2 years ago.
Yeah. So. Like, who is that going to help? So he did not play at all. The Steelers looked fine. They did not play any of their starters. Jacksonville played their starters for a couple of drives. And the Steelers defense did Steelers defense things. So, and on the other side of the field was obviously Travis Hunter. We did see him make an appearance on both sides of the ball, but he did not play long as he is an expected starter.
Yeah,
I didn't expect to see him long.
I wouldn't either.
I did expect to see him make at least or have a play on both. Neither of them were meaningful, I suppose. Neither of them were anything to woo-hoo about. They were just out there. But I don't see much improvement from Jacksonville.
Fair enough. I will say, shout out to Jacksonville's kicker for hitting a 70-yard field goal in a game.
Yes.
Because that shit's impressive.
Yep. I unfortunately don't believe it counts.
It doesn't count towards the record because it's preseason.
Yeah.
However, it does in my book.
It gives you confidence to do it again.
Yeah.
So great for him. And honestly, really great for Liam Cohen to give him that shot.
Yeah.
And I know it's preseason, so now in a game, he'll be more likely to. But most head coaches are like, no, we're not. No. But the kicker told him, hey, I want to hit it. I think I can. So, great for him. It is really unfortunate that it doesn't count. It should. But
that thing was good from like 73 too. That's the embarrassing part.
It had room.
It cleared.
It had room.
So
the legs are getting strong. You know, it's like every other position. They're getting better. They're getting more athletic.
That almost every NFL kicker can hit that kick. The question is whether they get the opportunity in a game.
That's fair. I think knowing how to make that kick. Like, I think you have the physical capability, but there's a mental part of it.
Yeah. But the game situation where the pressure's on and you know, because you watch it, every kicker in warm-ups hits a 70-plus yard kick. It happens.
Yeah. It's knowing it's got to stay straight. It's got the distance. There are people coming at you. The pressure of it, your opposing team has someone back there going, they're not going to make it, so I'm going to pick this up.
Yeah. So I think at some point it will happen because somebody will give them a chance to do it. It's just about getting a chance to kick from that far.
To do it. Well, my kicker was yelled at. So I don't know if it will be him. Mine was informed vehemently. It is not your job to tackle. Stop it. Don't. Run away.
Go to the sideline.
Yeah, don't do that. So, but that was kind of main storylines for Steelers.
Jaguars.
Jacksonville, and unfortunately the game I watched the least of. Next was Bengals and Eagles. The Bengals did play their starters for, I believe, the first two drives. As the Bengals have struggled to win in September. I think they're like 0-4 in their first starts the last several years. They tend to not do well. So their offense wanted to be out there, get some reps. So they cap it off with a loss of 34-27 to the Eagles, who did not play their starters. They played their backups. And what we saw, right, was pretty indicative of last year, with the realization that the other team was playing backups. Right?
Yeah.
Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase ate up a backup secondary. Shocker. But backup defenses tore up the Bengals.
Yeah.
The Bengals defense was tore up by the Eagles second. Like, defense is still a problem. Their first round pick did not play because he's missed so much time. Like, didn't get to see him. Didn't get to see, obviously, Hendrickson. It's not practicing. It's not playing. So it didn't give a ton of hope in that regard. It was literally, it looked exactly like their games looked last year. We do well offensively.
Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase are really good.
Goes to shit. So, as Bengals fans, or for Bengals fans, I hope having your first round draft pick signed will help. But I'm a little confused because we fired the defensive coordinator. Seems to be the only one that can get a team past Mahomes. We haven't signed the guys still. And we think playing Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow, who also has an injury history in the preseason, is going to fix the problem. So yeah, I'm just confused. It didn't look awesome unless you're a very big fan of Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. Then they look great. They look,
They still look like
they
Joe
look
Burrow.
like them.
So I have a hot take about the Bengals. I guess it's not really a hot take because I think people are going to agree with this. I think they easily could have the worst defense in the league.
I think there's a very good chance of that. Especially without Hendrickson. I think there's a very good chance of that.
I think even with Hendrickson, there's still a good chance.
Fair, but I can at least see hope if you have him.
I think that secondary is a big problem. That defensive line's a problem. That defense is a problem.
A mess.
So, not really sure what the Bengals are going to do.
And I get it, right? It's preseason. But when it looks the exact same as it looked last year, and you lost,
it's hard
and the Eagles didn't play any starters, right? Where you at least played some. Doesn't leave a lot to root for.
Yeah. It's rough.
Yeah.
So, I guess we'll see once the games start meaning stuff if their defense figures it out. But something tells me it's not going to go well.
Valid. All right. Well, final game for the AFC North. The Browns played the Panthers, coming out with the win 30-10. Biggest storyline here was Shedeur getting the start, played the majority of the game. I thought he looked really good. He looks like a really solid quarterback. Like, it's preseason, so he's playing with backups, playing against backups. I still do not believe he will get the start. I think he's earned more reps.
Yeah.
But his ability was never my question, right? He doesn't have the strongest arm, but he's accurate. He's not Lamar Jackson, but he's not a statue in the pocket either. I thought he had good decision making. He looked confident in the pocket. He moved well. I thought all of those traits were there.
I don't remember if it was his first or his second touchdown pass. But man, that whatever one it was, that ball, one. It was the second one. I couldn't remember which one it was, but man, he put that thing perfectly on target. The DB couldn't get to it. The only person that was going to catch that ball was the receiver. And if the receiver didn't catch it...
Oh, you know what? That might have been the first, because his second, he had to roll to his right out of the pocket and kind of threaded it.
Yeah, I think it was the first, because he had to come to the left a little bit. Because he came out to the left, but it's still...
And then through the dime.
That ball was about as perfectly placed as it could be. And I think that's his real strength. But yeah, I thought he had a good game, just so that we have the stats. He went 14 for 23, 138 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, took 2 sacks. So overall, a decent game. Like, obviously, it's preseason.
Yeah. I thought it was a decent showing. I thought he's earned more reps. The thing I didn't like, and the thing that I believe is the main question, right? It's the main concern following Shedeur, is the maturity. So your brother filming you, calling out a local Cleveland radio host in person, confronting him about why he doesn't say nice things about you, that I didn't love.
I mean, it's not great. It's not a good look.
Like, if you bump into that guy and he wants to talk to you and he's like, hey, I thought you had a great game. You gotta say something nice now? Fine. But it looks pre-planned with your brother filming it, posting this video. The problem the Browns have had is mature quarterbacks. They are physically talented, right? Johnny Manziel was physically talented. Didn't give a shit, but was talented. Baker Mayfield is talented. Was too focused on being a celebrity. Deshaun Watson is a hot mess.
Yeah.
So Kevin Stefanski's post-game interview, when asked if he's earned more reps, Stefanski said, well, we have standards for that position. I don't think that you do, so that's one. 2, as of right now, Shedeur meets your standards. I thought he played really well.
Yes.
Stop trying to fuck it up with the off-field bullshit.
I'm going to be very intrigued on their next game to see.
Yeah.
Because I don't know the status on Gabriel and Pickett. I think they're still dealing with the hamstring injuries. If that's the case,
Flacco will play.
Flacco won't play regardless. I don't think he touches the field in preseason. I think at this point, you know exactly what you're getting out of him.
Yeah.
There is nothing else to it. So I think if Gabriel and Pickett are still dealing with injuries, I think he'll see a lot of the game again, and then Tyler Huntley will come in. But I'll be very intrigued to see if either one of them is back, what that means. Because right now, I don't think you can tell a lot by how much he's playing, just purely because he's the only one that can play. Yeah. You're not going to play Flacco. Really, Flacco doesn't need preseason.
He
reps.
doesn't need preseason.
So you're looking at Shador and Tyler Huntley, and you already know what Tyler Huntley is. You don't really want him getting reps because he's probably not going to stick on your roster.
Yeah.
So it's really just Shador Sanders right now getting reps. The only one that you kind of want getting reps. I'll be very intrigued to see what happens if one of the two comes back. Because if, let's say, Dylan Gabriel comes back next week, does Gabriel get more reps than Shador? Like, do they split? That, I think, will tell us kind of where they're sitting.
Kind of where their thought process is. But yeah, when you're not the physical specimen that is Lamar or Allen or Roethlisberger, you have to have the mental of Brady, of Manning, of Joe Burrow, of Mahomes, Dak Prescott. You have to be good from here up. Brock Purdy, really great here. That means off the field too.
Mm-hmm.
The play was there. The attitude has to match. And that's currently my concern, and it's what I continued to see. Is you played really well. And then you let bullshit get in the way.
Yeah, well, I guess next week I think will definitely be the tell. Because I
kind of understand, so it's hard. I kind of understand if Gabriel gets more of the reps, because Shador kind of took all of them while he was hurt.
I still think you'll be able to, because, if Gabriel really gets more, then I agree. But if, they split, then
I think that tells you then that they're leaning towards Shador.
Yeah. So it's, if Gabriel gets significantly more, I'm between two things of okay, maybe they're really trying to see what Gabriel wants because of what Shador did.
Yeah.
The prior week. And then at that point, it's going to depend on week 3 of preseason to where I'm now is when we'll see what they truly think. If anything else happens, I think they're leaning one way or another type thing.
I agree. I agree.
It's a fluid situation that we're going to have to keep paying attention to.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Alrighty. Well, that did it for the AFC North. And just kind of the football I paid the most attention to this week. Brendan, did you have other thoughts on preseason?
Unfortunately, I wasn't really able to pay attention to a ton of the games this weekend.
Okay.
I paid attention to the Seahawks, and that was pretty much the only one I could. I kind of paid attention to the Saints and Chargers. It was on. I think the storyline there is obviously the Saints and their quarterback situation. There wasn't a ton to glean from it, honestly. Shuck played most of it, but he was kind of going into it as the backup to Spencer Rattler. Yeah. Neither of them I felt like had a stellar showing. I thought Shuck was okay. Had a really bad interception that ended up going for 6, but had a really good touchdown pass. So there's that. Rattler literally did nothing. Had 0 and 0 in terms of touchdowns and interceptions, but also didn't play a whole ton, only threw 11 passes. And then, so I'm just not sure where that QB battle is going, honestly. I don't even know if there's a right choice there currently.
Yeah, I mean, that's valid. That's valid.
So, yeah. And then for the Chargers, they're the Chargers. I have nothing, they didn't have a quarterback battle right now. They have a pretty functional franchise in terms of what they've got going on. So currently, there's just not much to say about the Chargers. They have no storyline going on.
The only one that I can think of is their left tackle being out, so they have to move Joe Alt to left tackle.
Yeah, but we're not going to see that really much in the preseason.
No.
And that's really the problem. So, for the Saints, I'm really afraid of what they're going to do at quarterback.
I think they're afraid.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, the Saints might need a fuck it year of just being terrible to kind of help that cap situation. But
still rough.
Yeah. Neither of your young quarterbacks are looking super solid right now. So, we'll see there. The other game I looked at was the Miami Dolphins and the Chicago Bears. Another one. Not a whole ton. I thought Ben Johnson looked all right as a head coach. Obviously, that offense looks better. Caleb Williams didn't play. That's not overly surprising, but it's still a little bit. I kind of wonder.
The net video?
Yeah. So, I'm thinking he's going to play towards the end of the preseason rather than the beginning. Some teams do that. But beyond that offense looked decent, which isn't a surprise. Ben Johnson was touted to be an offensive guru. So I'll be interested to see how that really goes once Caleb takes the reins. And then on the Dolphin side, I think really their only thing right now is the QB battle for the backup, which for them could be important, knowing Tua Tagovailoa's history. I think Zach Wilson's going to walk away with that one, based on what I watched. On whatever day Miami and Chicago played. I think it was Sunday. Because Quinn Ewers did not look good. It was not good. 2 fumbles. Just wasn't good. For reference, his stat line is 5 of 18. That's 27% completion.
That's rough.
That's very bad. That's not even rough. Bad. That's very bad.
Yeah, that's...
and then you chalk in 2 fumbles. You at least didn't throw an interception, but you also didn't throw a touchdown. So, not good. I thought Zach Wilson, looked decent in his limited time. Went 5 of 9. Overall, just looked okay.
Yeah.
So, I think it's Wilson's backup. And at least for the Dolphins, I think Wilson
might get a chance to play.
Could be capable. Obviously, I don't want Tua to get hurt.
No.
I
absolutely not.
Very much don't. But his history dictates
there's a good chance the Dolphins' backup will have playing time.
So, there's that. And I think Zach Wilson is a capable backup right now. I guess we'll see. I liked his time. I thought his time in Denver really helped kind of ground him a little bit. And now he might get a chance with Miami, depending, obviously, on the injury situation. But those were really the games I ended up getting to kind of focus on and wasn't really even focusing on.
That's fair. The only other thing I took note of was Justin Fields played well, Jackson Dart played well, and Cam Ward played well.
That's good. I did see Jackson Dart played decent.
Yeah. I still don't think Jackson and Dart will get the start.
That's not necessarily a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing. Only thing that concerns me is with the Giants on the hot seat the way they are, is how long that will last, depending on how the season goes with Russell.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But I'm okay with the rookie quarterback sitting for a while. But yeah, I know kind of the quarterbacks making their debut with new teams. Most played really well. Justin Fields had a great day for the time that he was out there. He looked comfortable in a way I don't think he looked with the Bears for the last year. And a way he never really got with the Steelers because he kept knowing that he was going to lose it.
Was coming down the...
Yeah, so I think kind of having the freedom, knowing he's the guy, I think we saw a clear culture improvement with Aaron Glenn. So I thought that was great. And yeah, Jackson Dart played well. Cam Ward played well. We'll see what the Titans can be. I think that division is kind of up for grabs. The Texans O-line does not look great.
It's rough.
So,
and the other teams in that division are all kind of...
It's not great. It's not great.
You know, the Colts have a QB battle that you don't want. And the Jaguars...
I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think there's a battle anymore. I don't think there is anymore. I think there was I think after Ojabo made contact, that was the end of that.
Yeah. So, if you want to say it's not a QB battle, then the Colts have Danny Dimes at quarterback. So, not what you want.
Good luck.
But you never know. He could win that division with just how bad it is. Like, really.
Fair.
If you're looking at it, CJ Stroud, I think, is better. Like, is obviously better.
Is better, but you need an O-line.
And then
he's not mobile enough.
I think Lawrence and Jones are very, very similar in who they are as quarterbacks right now. So,
yeah,
I think it'll come down to supporting cast in a lot of this. And currently, I'm not really sure which one has the better supporting. I think all in all,
I think the Colts have a better roster.
I think all in all,
have the best roster.
Houston has the best roster, barring one of the most important things, the offensive line. And that's kind of where I'm sitting.
And that's why I give it to the Colts.
I think the only reason I don't is the Colts as a whole are definitely just weaker, but they have a decently better offensive line.
Fair enough.
So,
alrighty. Well, then I think that does it for preseason. We will move on to continue our breakdown of all the teams. And we are in our final division of the AFC West. Sticking with tradition, the winner of the AFC West, we will kick it off with Kansas City.
Yeah. All right. So we always kick it off salary cap, even though at this point in time, it kind of doesn't matter. They do have 16. They have like 17 million in cap. They're probably just going to roll it over to next year unless they make a deadline move. And with the Chiefs being contenders every year, I would look for them to make a move at the deadline. That tends to be something that happens. Free agency wise, who they brought in? They brought in Gardner Minshew to be their backup quarterback to Patrick Mahomes. Obviously, they bring back Charles Omenihu and Marquise Brown. They bring in Christian Fulton, a corner from the Chargers. They bring back George Karlaftis to that contract. They bring in Jerry Tillery from the Vikings, interior defensive lineman. They bring back a ton of linebackers. They bring back Nick Bolton, Mike Pennell, James Winchester, their long snapper, Juju Smith-Schuster, and Kareem Hunt. They bring in Mike Edwards, a safety from the Buccaneers. Beyond that, it's all bottom of the roster stuff. Nothing too major. They did bring back Trey Smith to a contract. So, nothing major in terms of who they brought in. Who they lost, quite a few names. Joe Thuney, their left guard, goes to the Bears. DeAndre Hopkins, the wide receiver, goes to the Ravens. Justin Reed, the safety, goes to the Saints. DJ Humphries, one of their left tackles, goes to the Rams. Josh Uche went to the Eagles. Tershawn Wharton, interior defensive lineman, goes to the Panthers. Derek Nottie, another interior defensive lineman, goes to the Jets. Wide receiver Justin Watson goes to the Texans. Shamaje Perine goes back to the Bengals. Mecole Hardman goes to the Packers. And that's really the main ones. And then, obviously, they didn't bring back Carson Wentz to be the backup. So, overall, not the best free agency. You kind of lose some players. Really important ones like Joe Thuney was a big one on that defense or offensive line. DeAndre Hopkins, you can argue, but at the end of the day, he didn't do a ton in Kansas City. And then Justin Reed, I thought, was one of their better safeties. So they lost a lot of players. They did bring back some key ones. They didn't really bring in anybody of huge notoriety in the free agency. This is kind of what happens when you're a good team. You're paying other players. Your free agency tends to be less.
And the one they wanted, they couldn't have. Suck it.
So overall, I think their free agency is technically bad, but all things considered, I think they did okay to be able to keep Trey Smith. They did all right to be able to keep some of the other guys around that roster that kind of keep them competing. And as long as they have Mahomes, I think at the end of the day, they'll be able to compete in the NFL. So it is what it is there.
Yep.
In terms of their draft class, obviously when you have the 31 overall pick, it tends to be a little difficult to have great draft classes. They did bring in, for their first round pick, Josh Simmons, the offensive tackle from Ohio State. I think this is going to be developmental track here. I get it. You need to build an offensive lineman around Mahomes. He's a young offensive lineman. Unfortunately, he is coming off an injury, so he probably isn't going to play this season. So this is definitely a future plan, and I think that's always a good idea to have. So not a bad one. Their second round pick, they bring in Omar Norman Lott, defensive tackle, Tennessee. He's another, I think, pretty good pick. Should go well next to Chris Jones and be able to learn from Chris Jones. So hopefully he can kind of be a rotational defensive tackle this year and maybe step forward in the next couple. And then their two third round picks are Ashton Gelati, defensive end, Louisville, and Noel Williams, cornerback, Cal. Both of these guys, I think, are going to come in and probably be decent on this defense. Probably just rotational guys. But maybe no one that really takes the league by storm. And then for the rest of their picks, it's a wide receiver out of Utah State. I think he probably could be a little decent for this team. Linebacker out of Oregon and running back out of SMU. So a decent draft class. Doesn't have a ton of picks in it. But at the end of the day, I think they did well to plan ahead. You hit some trenches with your first two picks. With your first three picks, you hit trenches. And then you kind of focused on what you kind of need in the future with this roster, with losing L'Jarius Sneed. Nick Bolton isn't getting any younger. You're always in need of wide receivers because you're the Chiefs. It's just kind of their thing. And then a 7th round running back is a 7th round running back. I mean, so
Valid.
Overall, I don't know if their offseason has been great. I don't even know if it's been good, but it's Kansas City. So you kind of just have to chalk it up to they know what they're doing, and they're probably going to have really good players out of this draft and figure it out. So
yeah.
Even if I think it's not great, it probably going to turn out to be fantastic.
Fine. Yeah, because
it's the Chiefs.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Well, moving on to their NFLPA grades. I really don't think I'm going to do this next year because Jesus. Their overall ranking was 26th out of 32. This is one that it's like, you can be at like first or you can win Super Bowls. Is kind of how I think their opinion when it lands. Overall, they made significant strides in multiple areas. Apparently, they improved their family situation by introducing daycare for day games. I don't know if that means they don't have one for night games. I'm a little confused by that. Resulting in a notable boost in their grade. They also invested in a full-time dietitian, and that has led to improved food program and a dramatic increase in their nutrition and dietitian score. Players continue to express need for renovation and upgrades to the locker room, which has been a top complaint on prior surveys. So, looks like their highest grade was head coach at an A+ and 4th, which really shocks nobody. 93% of Chiefs players feel their head coach, Andy Reid, is efficient with their time. Players feel that Reid is highly receptive to locker room feedback. Their lowest grade was not locker room, but weight room. Players feel the weight room equipment is good quality, ranking them 28 out of 32. I'm a little confused. Players feel they do not have enough space to train in their weight room. Okay, there's the problem. A ranking of 30 out of 32. So, overall, actually, we're going to do something else first. Ownership. Owner Clark Hunt's average rating for perceived willingness to invest in the facility is a 6.61 out of 10, ranking of 26. Players feel that Hunt moderately contributes to a positive team culture. Players feel that Hunt is committed to building a competitive team, a rank of 17 out of 32. Look, the Hunt family, right, is famous. It tends to be an ownership group that if you pay attention to football, you do know. Not necessarily surprised they don't put a ton of money into the facility and things like that, but it's hard to say that they're not committed to building a competitive team when they've been in the Super Bowl 4 of the last 5, and they've won 3.
4 of the last 5, yeah.
Like, it's just, the point really is to win. Like I get it that the Jets have a fancy new locker room and the Ravens have a nice locker room and all of these teams, but the Chiefs win. So,
I mean, yeah.
While I understand maybe going and being like, oh, the locker room's kind of shitty, but you could get a Super Bowl, I think every player in the NFL would take it.
And right? They've gotten 3. So
they would take it. It's hard to really criticize what the Chiefs are doing as much as I would like to.
But
the proof is in the pudding.
You don't win 3. You don't go to 4 of the last 5 Super Bowls without being competent.
Yeah. And you don't win 3 of them without having a competitive team, good culture, good roster, good head coach. None of that happens. So I'm sorry that the players have things they would like improved, but at the end of the day, it doesn't appear to be making a difference.
Yeah. So I guess the players are just gonna have to live. Is really the.
And then because we have had football, just notably, for their first preseason game, the Chiefs played the Cardinals. The Cardinals did come out with the win, with 20-17. The Chiefs are kind of historical for they always play their starters a little bit. Patrick Mahomes always plays a drive or two. That's something Andy Reid takes very seriously. So they did do that. Didn't get the win, but the reps really are what's more important. So, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, it's the Chiefs. They're probably always going to be there.
As long as they have Mahomes and Reid,
yeah,
they're not going anywhere. Like, they're just not. Right? It's like Brady and Belichick. They're not going anywhere.
So,
gonna have to deal with them.
Well, we'll move on to a kind of up-and-coming team. Obviously, have kind of sucked for a while, and then last year they kind of figured it out. The Denver Broncos finished second in the AFC West. So we'll dive right into them. Starting off with cap space, they have $6 million. Again, it doesn't matter at this point. Free agency-wise, the Broncos, I think, have done decent. They obviously bring back Courtland Sutton to that extension. They brought in Evan Ingram, the tight end from the Jaguars, which I think is going to be a pretty decent signing. Just considering how Sean Payton uses tight ends, I think that one's going to really work out for them. They bring back DJ Jones, the interior defensive lineman. They bring in Dre Greenlaw, the linebacker from the 49ers. Bring back Jared Stidham to be the backup. Bring in Sam Franklin, a safety from the Panthers. Bring in Trent Sherwood, a wide receiver from the Vikings. They bring in J.K. Dobbins, the running back from the Chargers. They bring back their linebacker Justin Strand. They bring in linebacker Garrett Wallow from the Titans. They bring in safety Talanoa Hufanga from the 49ers. And that's really it. Pretty decent additions and being able to keep some of these guys. Who they lost, they obviously, Zach Wilson, one of their backups, went to the Dolphins. Cody Barton, a linebacker, went to the Titans. Tremon Smith, a corner, went to the Texans. Javonte Williams, their running back, went to the Cowboys. Their punter went to the Buccaneers, which they drafted one, so that matters less. Another linebacker went to the Lions. Wide receiver Little Jordan Humphreys went to the Giants. And that's about it. Overall, I think they had a pretty decent free agency. I think they didn't really lose a ton of people that mean something. Like, obviously, Javonte Williams is probably the biggest one there. But they bring in J.K. Dobbins to replace him, so I think that's perfectly acceptable. Cody Barton leaving was another big one, but they bring in Dre Greenlaw to replace him, so another good one. So I think they've done really well. They also bring in a really good safety in Talanoa Hufanga, if he can stay healthy. This team is building a really, really, really good defense, so really good to see there. And I think their free agency showed it. And then in the draft, they showed it again with their first round pick, Jahdae Barron, who was one of the better DBs in the draft. I think he can play anywhere. He's going to come into a stacked secondary with Patrick Surtain, Riley Moss, Jaquan McMillan. Their safeties are really good. So again, this defense is going to be something this year.
Yeah.
With their second round pick, they bring in R.J. Harvey, the running back at UCF. I think R.J. Harvey is going to be really good in this offense, just with what Sean Payton likes to do, because he can catch the ball. He's a really good runner. I think this is really going to work out with R.J. Harvey and J.K. Dobbins. They bring in with their third round picks, a wide receiver, Pat Bryant, out of Illinois. Really big wide receiver, 6'2", tall guy. Not going to lie, don't know a ton about him. Didn't really watch Illinois football last year. can't say a ton, but he's a bigger body receiver. You can always kind of use one of those.
Peyton kind of likes them.
And then their other third-round pick is edge rusher Savion Jones out of LSU. Taking an LSU edge rusher is pretty safe, pretty decent. Yeah. He was really good last year for LSU. Once again, adding to a stacked defense should be pretty good. And then in the fourth round, they take another edge rusher out of Alabama. In the sixth, they take a punter out of Florida. And in the seventh, a tight end out of Utah. So I think the Broncos have had a hell of an offseason. I think that defense is going to be easily top 5 in the league. Yeah. Last year, defense was really good.
They were really good. And Sean Payton does kind of your traditional mold. He is an offensive-minded head coach. So he kind of buys the defense and then develops the offense. And he's had success with that. I think we saw they had a great defense last year. Bo Nix was a rookie, still coming into his own. I'm hoping he's going to take that kind of next step. I'm hoping Sean's going to trust in him a little bit more, open up the playbook a bit more. Mm-hmm. But Sean Payton is also the guy that's, I want you to run the play I call, and I want you to throw the guy I want you to throw to. So that's kind of, that's just who he is as a head coach. But it is really exciting to see a team that I grew up with. I grew up down the freaking road from.
Yeah.
Finally coming back into their own. And I think you are really seeing it. And I think you are really seeing that this is Sean Payton and Bo Nix's team now. And it's exciting to see.
Especially because it's been a while since the Peyton Manning era. And that was the last time the Broncos were good. It's been a revolving door of quarterbacks since then. So hopefully...
Revolving door of head coaches.
But now that we have 2 in Sean Payton and Bo Nix, those both can just be solidified for a little bit. Mm-hmm. And this team can finally be good again. And with that defense, again, easily I think a top 5 unit. It is stacked across the board. And if that offense can just be good, this is a playoff team and it could really challenge in this division.
Yeah. And it's, I know the Chiefs are good. The Chiefs are always going to be good. But when you see a team twice a year,
and
I think they could split that.
The Broncos are kind of built to beat the
Chiefs.
Yeah. Like, don't get me wrong, I think teams approach the Chiefs the wrong way. You have to have a good defense and a competent offense. And I think both are going to be true here. This defense is going to be elite, but once you go up against the Chiefs, it's just going to be good because it's Chiefs. And then a competent offense, and that's all you need.
Yeah.
So.
And I mean, last year, that first game.
The first one came down to the block field goal.
Yeah, it was right there for the taking. So, I think there's a shot.
I think there's a real shot. So, yeah, really excited for the Broncos.
Well, team ranking. They were 17th overall. Overview. It's important to note that the team has plans in place to build a state-of-the-art practice facility, which is scheduled to be completed before the 2026 season. When asked what the best thing about the team is, players' most consistent response is their perception of pretty new ownership. Since buying the team in 2022, the Walton Penner family ownership group has consistently shown a willingness to invest in players' experience, Players' reaction to the investment in the team is reflected in strong marks for CEO and owner. Cool. Looks like their lowest grades were locker room, which they got an F. 56% of players feel they have enough room in their individual lockers. 42% of players feel the locker room size is adequate. Their other 30th ranking was strength coaches. 83% of players report they get an individualized training plan from their strength coach. Players feel that their strength coaches moderately contribute to their overall success. Players specifically compliment the work of the assistant strength coaches, saying they're the ones providing high-quality programming and dedicated support. So, and then their highest grade was ownership, actually. Penn's average rating for perceived willingness to invest is a 9.62 out of 10. Players feel that ownership significantly contributes to a positive team culture. Players feel that ownership is extremely committed to building a competitive team rank of 5. And he was 4th out of 32. And then head coach, Sean Payton ranked 26th and a B. 80% of players feel their head coach, Sean Payton, is efficient with their time. Players feel that Payton is moderately receptive to locker room feedback on teams' needs, rank of 29 out of 32. I kind of think that's one where it's like you missed the mark just slightly. Like 1 or 2 players said something different. I don't think it's actually a reflection of Sean Payton. I also think it's kind of an old school head coach. So at this point in his career, you're getting what you get.
Yeah.
And Sean Payton is very much a my way kind of guy. We'd been doing this. Treatment of families. Broncos provide daycare and a family room. They rate the post-game family area 7.27 out of 10. Players feel that the team organizes family events a couple times a year, which ranks them 31st. Players would like the post-game family area to be indoors, so families, especially those with young children, can avoid hot and cold weather extremes in Denver. Both of those things are reality, so I get it, right?
It really is.
And you can get them in the same fucking game. I get it. That would be a bummer.
For reference, I'm currently in Colorado, and it was it was almost 100 degrees the other day. In about 3 weeks from now, it could be snowing. So keep that in mind.
Yeah. So I get that one. I get it. But overall, looks like most of their low grades come down to the facility, but it sounds like ownership group has plans to make improvements with a new facility. So, which is kind of a bummer in its own right, because if you put me in Colorado tomorrow, I could get you to the Broncos' current practice facility. I know exactly where that's at.
Mm-hmm.
So to know it's going to be different is weird, but happy for them. Hope it's good for the team and the players, but it's weird.
It would definitely, but also probably needed.
Yeah.
Probably needed. So.
Definitely. Oh, and then we had preseason football. They did play a game. The Broncos played the 49ers. Came away with the win of 30-9. So.
Pretty good.
I'm going to call it a what the fuck? I'm going to call it a pretty good showing for the Broncos.
Other than Bo Nix's safety, which was a little funny.
Yes.
But it happens. So.
That happens. Wait a minute. That would explain the 9. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like,
it wasn't 3 field goals. It was a touchdown and a safety.
So, but overall, good showing things happen,
Hey,
people get safeties.
They did pretty good.
I remember the Ravens blowing the 49ers out on Christmas Day. That started with a Ravens safety. It happens. You just move on.
Yeah. I remember the Seahawks blowing out the Broncos in the Super Bowl. That started with a Broncos safety.
It did. That went the wrong way. It's supposed to... the Broncos are supposed to get the safety and then blow the team out.
Nah. That was just a... From that snap forward, that game was over.
It was bad. It was not great. Well, it's better than fucking the whole thing up on the final play.
Yeah. Well, it is what it is.
So, alrighty. Well, I believe that does it for our breakdown of the AFC West this week. Obviously, next week, we will finish up with the Chargers and the Raiders.
Yes.
Any other snooze, football, random?
I have no random news for sports right now.
Thought I had one, and I don't remember what it was. So.
Okay, I guess maybe some random news. I will be going to a Rockies game here in a couple of weeks, so I guess I'll let you know how that goes.
Okay.
Or here in a
week.
Who
are they playing?
The Dodgers, so it should be fun.
So
get to go watch Shohei Ohtani and the Colorado Rockies. Really there for Shohei. Just want to throw that out there.
Really? Going to see the Dodgers. Really?
Not a Dodgers fan, just the Rockies suck.
Rockies.
It's about as much as I could put that. So, should be fun. I'm kind of excited to go to a sporting event for the first time in a little bit. So, should be there. Should be fun. Talk about it on whatever podcast comes after that. I believe, I don't know what day I'm going, but I think we'll end up having one before that. So,
okay.
Should be fun.
Awesome.
I think that's it then.
I think that does it.
Unless you had anything.
I'm telling you, I had something, but I don't remember what it was. So.
All right, cool. All right, well, that does it for us this week. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment. If you're a Chiefs or Broncos fan, let us know what you think your team is going to do this year. How you think it's all going out. And if you're a fan of any other team, let us know how your preseason is going so far. What do you think of Shedeur Sanders' debut? What do you think of Cam Moore's debut? Do you think Travis Hunter will be able to play both ways in the NFL? That one seems to be a real talking point right now. Let us know what you think. And then check out next week for when we do the rest of the AFC West and whatever else happens. So that'll do it for us. Thank y'all for joining us. I've been Brendan.
And I've been Dallas.
Thank you.